Hello and welcome to Press TV Spotlight. I'm Marzia Hashemi. Thanks so much for being with us. The Palestinian resistance operation of al-Aqsa flood is in its second day. The blitzkrieg attack left the Israeli regime in shock on Saturday. Now, this unprecedented coordinated attack left over 700 Israelis killed and more than 2,100 others wounded. The Israeli regime has now been bombing the Gaza Strip, destroying at least 30 residential buildings and killing at least 370 Palestinians. What is next? And we will be taking a look at this situation on this Spotlight. I'd like to welcome my guests to the program. Out of Beirut, Myra Osman, journalist and political analyst. Out of Cape Town, Zainul Abidin Gaddafi, coordinated the Zakzaki Foundation, South Africa. Thank you both for being with me on this program. Myra, I'd like to start off with you, your overall assessment of this operation and the scale of it.
Let me start by congratulating the Palestinian people, the Palestinian resistance, the Arab and Islamic world, all the free peoples of the world, for witnessing an epic battle that we would have never imagined in our lifetime to see. So let me start there to just show you how immense this thing is, to a point that I keep going through my phone watching all the videos because I cannot believe it. I'm very happy, but at the same time, it brings me pride and joy to be part of this axis of resistance and to witness firsthand the liberation of Palestinian land, which we have been calling for the past at least 75 years. Now, what is going on? That's a big question that we can't really answer, but what we can answer is according to what kind of information that we are receiving. Just at least an hour before I came on with you, we got firsthand information that the Palestinian resistance with different factions is less than 7 kilometers away from El Khalil. Can you imagine? It's like they are about to reach the West Bank, the southern part of the West Bank, which means if they do, they will be able to cut the historic Palestinian land in half, the map in half, and take the southern half. And if that actually happens, that would be beyond what we have imagined that would happen. And it would be a great, great benefit and a victory and a great scoring for the Palestinian resistance. But at the same time, sadly, we are seeing how the air is still the biggest friend for the Israelis at the moment by using their airstrikes against families' residential areas in the Gaza Strip. At least up until now, it has been registered at least 11 massacres with families with more than 10 to 12 members all perished in multiple areas across the Gaza Strip. When you also said it's more than 370 martyrs and more than 3,000 wounded in the Gaza Strip. So it is a heavy price to pay, but it is a worth it price because what's coming up next is basically the battle of liberation, and a lot of things are happening really, really fast. Where it's been like less than 30 hours, and we are hearing that great powers are on the move, and if they do get to the shores of Palestine, it is a game changer.
Yes, indeed. It definitely has been fast-moving and quite unbelievable. Well, Zainul Abidin, I want your thoughts about the incredible intelligence failure by the Zionist regime.
Yes, I would like to say thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming.
And like the sister, I would like to give our congratulations to the people of Palestine and to the resistance axis on this unprecedented historical moment in the history of resistance, where we see that the Palestinian resistance is giving such a blow to the Zionist regime that we can only imagine they will never recover from this. I think the failure of the Israeli intelligence is quite clear, that being supported by the United States, being supported by various superpowers of the world, nobody was able to preempt this operation that is taking place, the al-Aqsa flood operation. As a result of the intelligence failures, we have seen the victory today and yesterday that we have never seen before. Many Israelis were captured amongst their militaries, amongst the ordinary people. A top commander was captured. Various locations that has been under the occupation of the illegitimate Zionist regime since 1948 has been liberated. We have seen that the Palestinian resistance has entered into various settlements, destroying the notion of safe settlements for all of the Zionist occupiers. So the unprecedented attack has not only shown the strength of Palestinians, but it has completely shattered the intelligence networks of the Zionists and their allies in the world that are global superpowers. We also see that as the one of the Hezbollah officials mentioned today that this operation of the al-Aqsa flood, it's ratifying the statement that said Nasrullah Hafidahullah has said that the time of defeat is long gone and we are in the time of victory. We're in the time of armed resistance, of glory, of martyrdom, of victory, a time where we come together to liberate Palestinians and where we are seeing the beginning of the end of the Zionist regime. And I think that this ties in with a statement by the leader of the Islamic Revolution and the champion of the oppressed, Ayatollah Said Ali Khamenei, on the 3rd of October, when he made this historical statement that the Zionist regime is coming to an end. And a few days later, we see this major blow and the show of strength, power, right, unity, military excellence from the Palestinian resistance.
Indeed, indeed. Well, Myra, today the Lebanese resistance, Hezbollah fired shells and guided missiles toward Israeli-occupied territories and Israeli-occupied Sheba farms, and Tel Aviv struck Lebanon. Your thoughts on this and what this side of things could mean?
Well, let me begin by telling you that it was 7:10 a.m. in the morning this morning. When we woke up, I just arrived half an hour ago to Beirut. I was in my home village in Khiam, which is facing the area that was bombarded. And we woke up at 7:10 a.m. At the sounds of artillery shelling, and it was really loud. Obviously, I had the kids with me. We had to calm them down, tell them it's okay. It's just the resistance, no one else but the resistance. And lo and behold, less than 30 minutes later, we know that Hezbollah, the Islamic resistance in Lebanon, takes responsibility for bombing 3 security towers for the Israeli entity in 3 different areas in the occupied Sheba farms. Basically, it was a retaliation, as the statement of Hezbollah said, to against the Palestinians, against killing the Palestinians, and in support of the Palestinian resistance. And it was also a legitimate fight by Hezbollah as an Islamic resistance in Lebanon to try and regain control over occupied territories in the Sheba farms and the occupied Kfar Shuba hills as well. So it was still according to international law, and it was still according to what Lebanon has rights within the occupied territory. But to be honest with you, it was a clear message by the Islamic resistance in Lebanon telling the Zionists that if you do cross certain red lines, we are here, we are ready to engage, we will not leave the Palestinian resistance alone, and we will make sure that you will pay for every crime and mistake.
Okay, Marva, stay with me. We're having some
what
audio.
What also happened, I think it was
a little audio difficulty. So let me cross over to Cape Town, and hopefully we can take care of this audio problem that we're having. Zainal Abidin, we've seen these Western regimes immediately condemning the resistance operations and, of course, pledging more support for Tel Aviv. At the same time, corporate media is trying to portray that the world is condemning the attacks by Palestinian resistance. However, we are seeing more and more people in these countries, even Western countries, even as we speak right now, holding demonstrations in support of the Palestinian resistance and condemning Israeli oppression. Your thoughts on all of this?
Yes, look, I think that throughout the history, the Western regimes, namely the United States, the UK, and the allies across the world, that they have never respected the God-given natural right of human beings of self-defense, and that is to defend themselves against capital against illegal occupation, because of course the Western regimes, be it in Africa, be it in all around the world, in South America, all across the Middle East, they are the ones that are guilty of occupation, of stealing minerals and resources of nations, and therefore they have never drawn a distinction in Western media between wars of liberation and wars of occupation, nor have they ever respected the right of humanity, of free people to defend themselves. Regardless of this, throughout the 75 years, there have been numerous negotiations, there have been UN resolutions, there have been different kinds of intervention, and all of them has failed. The only means of liberation for the freedom of Palestinian people that has ever been taken seriously and that has ever brought fruits to the oppressed of Palestine is the means of armed resistance, that is to fight with the intention to eradicate, annihilate, and destroy illegitimate Israel out of the face of earth. This is the only means that has ever brought success and fruits for the liberation of Palestinian people. In the same way the Lebanese defeated the Israeli invasion in 2000 and in 2006, this is the only way in which Palestinian people will be liberated. So regardless of the condemnation of Western states and of nations across the world, this will not deter the Palestinian resistance, and free people, people that believe in liberation, people that are moving to the global shift on consciousness across the world will support the innate right of the Palestinian people to resist and to liberate themselves with arms. In New York, we are seeing that there are people protesting in support of the Palestinian people. In Cape Town tomorrow, on the southern tip of Africa, we will be protesting in support of the Palestinian people, and free people across the world will always support armed resistance in Palestine as our means for liberation.
Well, Myra, of course, the corporate media continues to try to both distort history and current events, and of course continue to try to show the Palestinians as the aggressor and the Zionists as the victims. I want to talk about that aspect and those of us in the alternative media and our responsibility, and what do you see that we need to do to make sure that the truth gets out?
Well, Marcia, let's begin by saying that we have a history that's 75 years old that we can use in facts and documents and photos and videos, especially of massacres committed by the Zionist entity with the help of the Western hegemony, with the starting with Britain and then moving on to the United States of America. So we have a lot of facts from history that says that this is an illegal Zionist colonial regime that have brought immigrants from all across the world, especially from Europe and Eastern Europe in specific, to loot the land of the Palestinians, take their rightful properties, kick them out of their homes, kill them, massacre them, kill their babies, burn their babies. What the Palestinian people have been suffering from and enduring for the past 80 years is beyond what anyone can imagine as a nation and a people. So we have a lot of facts that we can highlight, that we can speak about when the Western mainstream media tries to portray that the Zionists are civilians and that they are being violently attacked by terrorists, quote unquote. And also there's another role for us as people, especially on social media now. You know how much we are being attacked on social media. Our own Press TV has been taken down from YouTube, from Facebook several times, a couple times from Twitter. Even our website was taken down along with 36 other websites from West Asia. We know that it's a very hard fight, but we need to do it. We need to use all social media sites to tell the story of Palestine, the narrative of the axis of resistance, the natives of this region, of this land, what we have been suffering, what we have been enduring for the past 75 years, how much we have presented for our cause, how many of our vital family members we have lost, one of which is my father-in-law, for example. My children have no grandfather because of the Israeli entity, because they killed him while he was trying to defend his country and his land as a member of the Lebanese army. So we have a lot of stories to tell, but we need to use social media. We need to diversify the ways that we talk to people, because we also know that, for example, Meta, X, and other mainstream social media networks are censoring us, are making sure that we do not talk about Palestine, even if it's about historic events that took place in Palestine. They don't allow us to share photos, they don't allow us to share videos. So we need to make people come to us on Telegram by using the mainstream media, the mainstream social media, to promote the alternative media that we are using, to try and let the people know that we are somewhere else, for them to follow and learn what's happening. And it's working perfectly with Telegram. If I may.
Yeah, good point. Very good point that you made, because actually my social media page on Instagram has been shut down, actually, with all of this, and sharing, simply sharing the names of Palestinian kids who've been killed in the past, and of course a picture of General Soleimani. So that definitely will get you shut down. Well, Zain al-Abidin, looking at the situation, when looking at corporate media these days, we see Iran's name is being brought up constantly. I want to talk about that, because Iran has always been unapologetic in its support for Palestine, and of course pays the price. Your thoughts on the importance of Tehran's support for the resistance at this time, as it always has since the Islamic Republic has been established?
No, of course, a clear fact, and something that all free peoples of the world are grateful for towards Iran, is that the Islamic Republic of Iran is the organic heart of the resistance axis, the coordination, the logistical support, the monetary support, and all other efforts in bringing together an holistic force to combat and to counter the Western powers and the hegemony across the world, is as a result of the Islamic Republic of Iran. That is number one. Number two, Iran has, as you mentioned, been unapologetic for its support to the oppressed, and also unapologetic in its opposition against the illegitimate Zionist regime. This stance of Iran being unapologetic in its pursuit to bring about the destruction and the eradication of the illegitimate regime is a stance that has inspired many revolutionaries across the world. Many of us, we live in Eastern and in Western countries. Our governments, our leaders, our scholars, our academics, our role models, people of prestige that have not taken the stance that the Islamic Republic has taken against the illegitimate regime. And when we are in this path of liberation, we found that our source of confidence, our motivation, and the inspiration that we gain comes from the Islamic revolution in the form of the supreme leader, Imam Khamenei, as well as the leaders of the resistance, of course, most famous, Shaheed General Qasim Soleimani. And this stance taken by Iran is one that many can learn from. Iran has not been apologetic, nor has Iran cared about the response that the Islamic Republic gets from Western states and from Western media. The Islamic Republic is vilified across Western media in every aspect. Most recently, the event which took place where a young lady fainted in the subway station. And of course, Western media, they took every opportunity to accuse the Islamic Republic of Iran of being guilty of some crimes towards this young lady, which is not the case. But despite all opposition from the Western world, despite all kinds of sanctions and all kinds of interventions taken against the Islamic Republic, Iran has remained the core that has kept together the axis of resistance. Okay. Of course, this is amazing work, and we appreciate and respect the Islamic Republic.
Okay, unfortunately, we are out of time. Of course, our prayers are with the people of Gaza tonight, as right before this program we saw Israeli regime pounding that area. I'd like to thank both of you for being with me. Out of Beirut, Marwa Osman, journalist and political analyst. Out of Cape Town, Zain al-Abidin Gaddafi, coordinator of Zakzaki Foundation, South Africa. And as always, viewers, we appreciate you being with us on another Spotlight. I'm Marzieh Hashemi signing out for myself and all the crew right here in Tehran. Hope to see you right here next time.